What's up, everybody? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to the best 6 album runs in rock and roll history, according to me, right? So these are the bands that had a string of 6 pretty damn classic albums, or as close to classic as you could possibly get. In some instances, these albums could be really big sellers. In some instances, maybe not big sellers, but most fans and or critics think that these are classic albums in the genre of music that they kind of fit in, right? So we've done a whole bunch of episodes of these already. Originally, I was only going to do 25. Turns out there are a lot more than 25. So I'm just going to kind of keep this going until I have run out of bands to discuss, right? Where I think that there's no more that did 6 that are really, really meaningful albums, right? So, so let's get started. So my first choice for today is none other than Frank Zappa. Now, you could arguably go in all sorts of different directions in Frank's catalog because, quite frankly, there's probably numerous 5 or 6 or more album runs throughout his career, depending on what style of music you like the most from Frank. Is it the early Mothers of Invention stuff, the early psychedelic stuff? Is it the more jazz rock stuff in prog of the early mid-70s? Is it the more rock-based, humorous, lyric type stuff, late 70s into the early mid-80s? Is the big band stuff in the mid-late 80s? It could go any direction here. I'm going to go between the years of 1972 and 1975, which starts with Waka Jawaka, okay, this is kind of like, I don't want to say it's the beginning, but it to me, it kind of is, Hot Rats notwithstanding, which is a few years before. This marks the era of a series of really, really great bands that Frank had who delivered some amazing jazz fusion, rock, and prog music. It really, no real way to identify like what the music is like, but here you've got, like Big Swifty, the title track, the bookend epic tracks, and only 4 tracks on the whole album. Killer stuff, killer musicians on here. That's just amazing. And then the Grand Wazoo, okay, which follows that one. These were both 72, if I remember correctly, or 172, 173. He released a whole bunch of albums in this little period here. Grand Wazoo, again, some big, long, lengthy tracks. This is kind of like Frank's early take on, Zappa big band, so to speak. Great stuff on here. The title track on here is just amazing. For Calvin is just terrific. All instrumental. Great players, great stuff, love it to death. And then we got, we kind of see a lot of the same players, but then the music takes on a little bit more of a vocal approach. And then, of course, is Overnight Sensation. Here you've got some absolute Zappa classics, and this, is the beginning of, George Duke and Ruth Underwood and, all the Fowler brothers. I mean, all sorts of really great, Napoleon Murphy Brock, all these just great musicians kind of were in the band around this time. Here you got like Camarillo Brillo, I'm the Slime, Dirty Love, 50-50, Zombie Wolf, Dynamo Hum, and the Great Montana. Some great guitar solos from Frank. Amazing ensemble playing. It's jazz, it's rock, it's prog, it's funk, it's all this stuff together, right? Amazing album. And that album and this next album, which is Apostrophe, were the only gold sellers here in the U.S. among all of these. So these, Zappa was never a huge seller, more of kind of like a cult musician, cult act, right? That people really dug, but not a big seller. But these 2 albums went gold. Apostrophe, another really accessible album with some just amazing playing on it. Of course, Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, Nanook Rubs It, St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast, right? Father Oblivion, Cosmic Debris, Extra Force, however the hell you say it. The title track, Uncle Remus, and of course the great Stinkfoot. More killer guitar solos on here and great ensemble playing. George Duke is amazing on all these albums. So I normally don't do this, but I'm going to throw a live album in here just because there's so much, at the time, new original material on this album that it's not just your traditional live album where let's just play the hits or stuff from the most recent album. Here was some classic tracks and a bunch of new pieces, right? And that's Roxy and Elsewhere. Arguably the greatest Frank Zappa live album. Again, the same band, all sorts of great stuff in here. Penguin and Bondage, Pygmy Twilight, Cheapness is on here, Village of the Sun. Man, don't you ever watch that thing, Son of Orange County, More Trouble Every Day, which is great on this. The Old Jazzman's Church, Bebop Tango, killer stuff. And then, of course, my personal favorite, Frank Zappa album of all time, One Size Fits All, finishes up the 6 album run. Could go past this, right? You got Bongo Fury, Zoodalores, in New York, all sorts of great stuff. Inca Road's on here, Florentine Pogan, Evelyn a Modified Dog, Andy, Sofa Number One, Pajama People, killer stuff. Love the playing. Just everything about it is amazing, amazing, amazing. So that's Frank Zappa. So that's first choice for today. Next up, we're going to go over to the Boston area for Aerosmith, starting in 1973 with the debut album. All right. Platinum. Now we got some sales, right? Now we got some sales to talk about. Platinum in Canada, 2 times platinum here in the U.S. All right, of course, Make It's on here, Somebody's on here, Dreamed On's on here, Mama Kin, Walking the Dog, Moving Out, classic stuff on there, of course. From there, we're going to go to Get Your Wings, the second album, released in 1974. Platinum in Canada, 3 times platinum in the U.S. Same Old Song and Dance, Lord of the Thighs, Woman of the World, Spaced, Killer, Train Kept a Rolling, SOS, Too Bad, Seasons of Wither, Pandora's Box. This is one of those Aerosmith albums that, to me, has only gained strength over time. I think this is one of the gems of their early catalog that doesn't get enough credit. Excellent, excellent stuff. Of course, my favorite Aerosmith album, although some have been pushing it of late and challenging it, of course, rocks. Oh, went out of order. Sorry. Toys in the Attic is next up. 1975, third album. Platinum in Canada. 9 times platinum in the States. 9 times. Think of that. 9 million copies. Title track, Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple. Walk This Way's on here. Big 10-inch record. Sweet Emotion. No More, No More. Round and Round. Oh, Round and Round. So heavy. Love it. You See Me Crying. There are times where I claim this is my favorite Aerosmith album. All these are great, right? Rocks, 1976. Platinum in Canada, 4 times platinum in the U.S. So a little bit of a drop from the album before, but arguably most people cite this as their greatest album. There are many times that's how I feel as well. Back in the Saddle, Last Child, so good. Rats in the Cellar, amazing. Combination, amazing. Sick as a Dog, amazing. Nobody's Fault, amazing. Get the Let Out, Lickin' a Promise, Home Tonight. I mean, it just doesn't, no relenting on this album. Killer. Rocks is a classic for a reason. Then we're going to go Draw the Line. Yes, I consider Draw the Line one of their classic albums. I really like this album a lot. 1977. Gold in Canada, 2 times platinum in the U.S. Title track is great. Critical Mass is great. Get It Up is great. Kings and Queens is terrific. The Hand That Feeds, Milk Cow Blues, Cypher Sore. I mean, they're all really good. I didn't mention every song, but maybe not as strong through and through as the 3 albums that came before. But I think this one, to me, is just as solid as the first album. I really dig it a lot. And then last in this album of 6 albums is Night in the Ruts from 1977, which I think is even stronger than Draw the Line. 1979, Gold in Canada, platinum in the U.S. No Surprise, Chiquita. Oh, Chiquita's so good. Remember, Walking in the Sand. Awesome stuff. Cheesecake, 3 Mile Smile, Reeferhead Woman. Oh, so good. Bone to Bone, Coney Island, Whitefish Boy. What a terrific song. One of the great Aerosmith songs, one of the underrated Aerosmith songs. And then, of course, Think About It and Me, a great grungy Aerosmith, dirty Aerosmith, drugged out Aerosmith, right? Classic stuff. Those 6 albums are just amazing. All right, next up, let's go over to New York, shall we? For a little old band called Blue Oyster Cult. Now, here's an interesting one. So you can kind of start this and end it in lots of different places. I'm going to start it with the first album. Blue Oyster Cult from 1972. Transman Icon MC. Yeah. Then came The Last Days of May. Yeah. Stairway to the Stars. Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. Workshop of the Telescopes. Some great stuff on here. It's a little more psychedelic. Still pretty rockin'. Great stuff. I'm going to start there. Some folks might want to start at this one. Tyranny Mutation, 1973. The Black, the Red, the 2 sides, right? Red and the Black, Ode on Life Itself. Hot Rails to Hell, 7 Screaming Disbusters, right? Then you got Baby Ice Dog, Wings Wetted Down, Teen Archer and Mistress of the Salmon Salt, Quick Lime Girl. Great album. Third album, Secret Treaties. My personal favorite Blue Oyster Cult record and one of the great hard rock records of all time. Gold seller in the U.S. Career of Evil, Subhuman, Dominance and Submission, ME262, KG Cretans, Harvester of Eyes, Flaming Telepads, and Astronomy. Killer stuff, great production. Amazing album. Their biggest seller, platinum in the US, gold in Canada, Agents of Fortune, 1976. All right. To me, a little step down from Secret Treaties, but I don't doubt its greatness, right? This Ain't the Summer Love, True Confessions, of course, it's got Don't Fear the Reaper on it. That's the reason why it's the big seller it is, right? ETI, Extraterrestrial Intelligence, killer song. The Revenge of Vera, Gemini, great song. Tattoo Vampire, Sinful Love. Morning Final, Tenderloin, Debbie Denise. Good, fun album. Maybe not as hard rocking as the one that came before it, but still pretty damn terrific. And what do we got? Number 5 in this series, of course, is Spectres. Yeah, this is the album from Blue Oyster Cult that just keeps moving and moving and moving up my chart. I liked it a lot back in the day, but I like it even more today. 1977, gold in the US. It's got Godzilla on it, of course. It's got the Golden Age of Leather, Death Valley Nights, Searching for Celine. I'm searching. Fireworks is on here. Are You Ready to Rock? Celestial the Queen. Oh, great melodies on that one. Going Through the Motions. I Love the Night. And the great Nosferatu. Terrific song. Now, some, not Martin Popoff, because I know Martin's a huge fan of this album. I almost didn't include Blue Oyster Cult because I have an issue with this album a little bit. Mirrors from 1979. I always found this fairly inferior to a lot of the ones that came before and after it. But you know what? Hanging around Martin for all these years and talking to him so much about these albums and him, really hammering how much he loves this album. This is a pretty damn solid album. Is it a great album? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to include it anyway. Dr. Music is terrific. The Great Sun Jester, In Thee, great. Title track, Mirrors, is really good. The Vigil, I Am the Storm, Lonely Teardrops. More of a kind of poppy, sheeny, bright and shiny album from Blue Oyster Cult. Maybe not as rockin' as the ones before or after, but I'm going to include it here. And you know what? I'm going to throw a little twist into this because I think, quite frankly, the two that come after that are terrific and arguably as good as everything else here. So, you got to give some love for Cultosaurus Erectus from 1980 and Fire of Unknown Origin from 81. Both tremendous and really, when you think about it, probably make this a 8 album run, right? That's almost unmatched. Great stuff. All right, from there, we're going to go a little progressive rock, and again, kind of similar. This arguably could be a 7 or 8 album run. Okay, Gentle Giant. I like the first album, self-titled Gentle Giant album. I don't quite call that a classic, though. I don't think that's where the run starts. I think the run really starts here with Acquiring the Taste. Pentagrel's Nativity, Edge of Twilight, Acquiring the Taste, the title track. Plain Truth, The Moon is Down, Black Cat, Edge of Twilight, The House, The Street, The Room, dun 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 dun. Great cover art. Very, complex and just not accessible at all, but I love it for it. Three Friends. Okay, all these albums are from 1970, 1976, by the way. Three Friends. Third album, terrific. Talked a bit about this on this month's show. My favorite prog albums. Prologue, School Days, Working All Day, Peel the Paint, Mr. Class and Quality, and the title track. Amazing album. My favorite Gentle Giant album right now, anyway. Number 3, Octopus. Yeah, The Advent of Penurge, one of the great Gentle Giant songs of all time. Raconteur Troubadour, A Cry for Everyone, Knots, A Dog's Life, Think of Me with Kindness, and of course The Great River with that amazing violin. How can you not have that? Roger Dean artwork there. Of course, then we're going to go to In a Glass House. There are times this is my favorite Gentle Giant album. All right, this is number 4 in this series. The Runaway, Way of Life, Experience, A Reunion, In a Glass House, An Inmate's Lullaby. Terrific. More of a rockin' album. Great, great stuff. Next, The Power and the Glory. Killer. This is like one of those albums I absolutely love from them, but I've never ranked it my favorite Gentle Giant. It's always up there, though. It's not one of the ones that generally rotates into my number 1, but it's amazing. Proclamation, So Sincere, Aspirations, Cogs and Cogs, Playing the Game, No God's a Man, The Face, Valedictory. It's pretty rocking, too. Pretty complex. Great stuff. Great Steven Wilson remix on here. And then what is probably the last in the classic run, all right, is Freehand. Amazing. This is another one that has been rated my favorite Gentle Giant album many times over the years. Amazing. Just the same. This is the album that I recommend to anybody who has never listened to Gentle Giant before, because I think this is the one that it has all the qualities, but it's still very easy listening. It's very complicated and intricate, and it's got all the things that Gentle Giant do so well that make them so unique, but it's presented in a little way that's just a little bit easier on the ears, I think. Just the same, Reflection, or On Reflection, I should say. Freehand, Time to Kill, His Last Voyage, Taliban, and Mobile. Great. But here's the thing. I really feel that you could make this 7 and go with Interview, which I really love a lot. This is the brand new Steven Wilson remix. I think Interview is terrific because it's got songs like the title track. It's got Timing, I Lost My Head, Another Show, Give It Back, Design, Empty City. These are all great tracks too. It's more in the line of Freehand, I think, maybe a little bit more rockin' than Freehand. Still has all the qualities we love about Gentle Giant, but it's becoming a little bit more accessible. And if you wanted to throw in the debut and make it 8, I wouldn't argue that at all, because quite frankly, I think after Interview, the quality starts to drop off. I like most of The Missing Piece, but I don't love that album. Giant for a Day I don't like at all. And Civilian I do like, but it's not one of these, right? So, yeah, I could go 7 or 8 easy on Gentle Giant. And then last but not least here, as I shoot all the CDs all over the place. But you hate when that happens. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go with Whitesnake here. And yes, here's where I'm going to, all our British friends who are always telling me how classic all of the early albums are, I'm going to agree with you. And I'm going to start it, I'm not going to start it with Trouble. I'm going to start the first run of I do think Trouble is a very strong album. I don't know if it's a classic Whitesnake album. I think they're still kind of figuring it out there. I think for me, really, it starts to gel with Love Hunter from 1979. Okay. From there, we're going to go with Ready and Willing, 1980. Gold in the UK. You'll notice these sold pretty well in the UK. From there, we're going to go, I really like this one a lot, Come and Get It, 1981. Also gold in the UK. And then, of course, we got Saints and Sinners, 1982. Silver in the UK. And I'm not even mentioning any songs on these, but yeah, we got some classic stuff on here. On Love Hunter, we got Long Way From Home, which is terrific. Walking in the Shadow of the Blues. Medicine Man is terrific. Mean Business, Love Hunter, the title track is great. We Wish You Well is a terrific song. It's like 1.5 minutes long. Could have been longer. Outlaw is terrific. Ready and Willing's got the great title track. Blind Man is good. Sweet Talker. Fool for Your Lovin' is originally on Ready and Willing. What else? Ain't Gonna Cry No More is terrific. Come and Get It. It's got the great title track. Hot Stuff is amazing. Child of Babylon is so good. Hit and Run is great. Wine, Women, and Song, terrific. On Saints and Sinners, we got the amazing title track. We got Young Blood. Rough and Ready. Bloody Luxury is terrific. Crying in the Rain originally came from this album. Here I Go Again originally came from this album. Love and Affection, yeah, also really, really great. And then album number 5 in this run is, of course, Slide It In, my personal favorite. All right. This went, Slide It In is gold in the UK from 1984, by the way, platinum in Canada, and 2 times platinum in the States. Here you got the title track, you got Slow and Easy, you got Love Ain't No Stranger, Gambler, All or Nothing, Spit It Out, Standing in the Shadow, Hungry for Love. I mean, there's more, Guilty of Love, and Give Me More Time. Great album, Martin Birch producing that one, as well as a bunch of these, actually. Martin was pretty much their producer for a number of albums. And then, of course, we're going to go to 1987, the last in the run, and that is the self-titled Whitesnake album, also called 1987. 8 times platinum in the US, 5 times platinum in Canada, platinum in the UK. You know, you got the remake of Crying in the Rain on here, done with John Sykes' Muscle Power, right? I like this version better. Sorry, guys. I know that's blasphemy for the Brits. I know. Bad Boys is on here. Still the Night is on here. One of my favorite songs of all time. Here I Go Again. Again, updated, okay, for the new I find there's a certain charm of the original Here I Go Again. I'm kind of really tired of the remake, the reimagining of it. Give Me All Your Love is on here. Is This Love, the ballad. I never need to hear that again. But Children of the Night, Straight for the Heart, and Don't Turn Away finish off the album in blazing fashion. Heavy album. This is the heavy record that just really broke them huge in most of the world, specifically here. So there you have it, everybody. Those are my next 5 bands in the great 6 album runs. I've definitely got a bunch of other ones to go to. I probably can get, I'm thinking at least another 2, maybe 3 episodes out of this, because there are ones that keep popping up and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Those are classics. So yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to continue on with this because I think this is kind of fun. And again, these are just, you don't have to agree that these 6 albums are classics, right? Or to me, I'm only picking these bands because I think very highly of these records. And like I said, there's some times where I'm kind of like I'm on the fence. I almost didn't pick Blue Oyster Cult because Mirrors to me is still the kind of weak link of all those albums, but it's still a really strong record, I think. And so I kind of wanted to include them today. But yeah, we'll be doing more of this. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as our merch page. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with the UK Connection, and of course Sunday with Ranking the Albums. So till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.